As fish out of water stories go, Harrison Mooney's early life definitely fits the bill. The award winning Vancouver based journalist was born in 1985 to a West African immigrant teen mother and then adopted by white religious fundamentalists who raised him in what he calls the buckle of BC's Bible Belt. He does end up meeting his biological parents and also learns a lot about himself in the process. Now he's put that story to paper in Invisible Boy, a memoir of self discovery, and it joins me now. Welcome, Harrison.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Thank you for doing this. So many questions, but I want to start with talking about how your early life seems about how your adoptive parents are trying to deny your Black identity under the guise of being colorblind. What was it like growing up in such an overwhelmingly white conservative background?
I mean, it was difficult. I think when you're a child, your family at home, like that's all you really know. So, I didn't know I was being raised white. I didn't really know what it meant to be black, but I knew that it came up a lot, and I knew that there were all kinds of experiences and just moments where my blackness really factored into to how this went. And then I would talk to my parents who were supposed to be my voice of reason and to give me wisdom and insight and show me how to manage these situations. And not only would they not really offer that guidance, but it seemed like they didn't really see or even believe what I was telling them about what had happened. Sometimes it would happen right in front of them, and I'd say, did you not see that? So yeah, I really did feel invisible at times, and it's strange because you also feel so visible. You're the only one like you in almost every room. Certainly the only one like you in your house. But yeah, it was difficult because it just felt like I was living in a completely different reality from the rest of the people in my house, in my community, and I didn't know what to do with that.
What was your first memory of knowing you were different than those around you?
Oh, I mean, I guess I always knew, you really can't miss it. But I remember going to preschool or to kindergarten and, like watching my mom have, a chat with the teacher, just kind of explaining, well, and we need to make sure that, the kids don't treat him differently, but then nobody actually would. And, so there was that, but there were also things like, when I was in the bathtub, my mom would kind of like she'd scrub me and then she'd say like, oh, I scrubbed all the skin off your hands, like, oh no. And I'd cry because I knew that wasn't supposed to happen. I'd never seen it happen to anyone else. And then she'd say just kidding, and I'd kind of laugh uneasily. Yeah, I guess I always knew, but I mean, from the moment I was conscious, it came up again and again and again.
You talk about in your early life having to disavow your blackness in order to be righteous. Where did that idea come from?
Yeah, I mean, it came from the church, and it came from my house, but I mean, it comes from everywhere. The rhetoric around morality, especially in the church, is so coded, and there's a clear us and them. There's the redeemed and the sinners, and you can have this us and them hierarchy without ever really explicitly discussing blackness or discussing race. But I mean, so often that's the subtext. And, if you're paying attention, you'll notice. And if you're black, you'll notice. So, it really was everywhere. And as much as nobody ever sat me down and said, hey, you need to stop being black or you won't go to heaven. They did say, don't fall into gangs, don't go to communities where crimes are happening, don't listen to that rap music because et cetera, et cetera. So much of the morality was around eschewing blackness, and I didn't realize that as a young boy. I was just doing my best to be righteous, and I really didn't realize what I was internalizing until I was much older.
Now, your transformation from Harry to Harrison is one of the pivotal moments in the book. What finally sets this in motion?
Yeah, it's just a long time of not being seen and of feeling like my experiences are so mine. Um, and I would tell these stories, and eventually I'd find myself doubting my own memories, and so I had to get stronger. I knew that, and I had to have confidence that what I saw and what I experienced was really what happened. Um, and I'd gotten tired of the person that I'd become as Harry. I felt like I was really accommodating, a bit of a pushover, a little bit of a clown, and I wanted to be somebody people took seriously. So, I decided to go by my full formal name. That's something I knew that people do, and there was a there was a moment that kind of turned it for me where my youngest brother dressed up as me in blackface for a Halloween party. I mean, it was a church event, so it was a harvest party. And by that point, I really decided, I'm someone to take seriously. And then he shows up, you know, and I saw his version of me, and I still felt like a clown. I felt like this isn't this. I'm not someone people take seriously. Um, so I decided to go by my full name and demand to be taken seriously. And it takes more than changing your name. I think the road to becoming is long. You can't just rebrand yourself. But it was a pivotal first step on the road to becoming who I am